Good morning, fellow wild earthers, and welcome to Live at the Waterhole with myself, Sean Taylor, and the Wild Earth crew, the amazing, fabulous Wild Earth crew. It's good to be back, and I hope you guys had an awesome weekend. It was basically just a sports weekend for myself. My son played cricket pretty much the whole of Saturday. I'm sure there's some parents out there that get that. But I hope all of you had a goodie, and I hope you're all looking forward to an awesome week. And if your Monday has not started out well, we are here, as well as our zebra and impala friends and our little waterbuck there, to get your week back on track. Now, don't forget, we love to hear from you. We love your comments. We love your questions. Keep them coming at us. You know me, I absolutely love it. It does help with my ADD and verbal diarrhea. So don't forget to engage with us on our WhatsApp as well as our various social media streams, and we will endeavor to get to your comments or your questions. Now, we find ourselves in Zimbabwe this morning first up, and we have some very sad looking zebra and some impala and a confused waterbuck who thinks that I don't know what's going through her mind at the moment. Maybe safety in numbers, I'm not too sure. But it is very common to see animals together like this. Safety in numbers. And it looks like that male impala has quite a large harem to have to look after. You can see he's busy herding them around at the moment. So for those of you that are not fortunate enough to live in Southern Africa and you are listening to us from overseas, we are in the green season at the moment, so most of our rain is around, besides Cape Town, which is more of a Mediterranean climate, and there are lots of baby animals around, so plenty baby impala, lots of baby zebra around as well, lots of baby blue wildebeest. It is baby time here in Africa. And if you look very closely on your screen, you will see a few little impala moving around, quite vocal as well. Very, very cute, very sweet. I love them to death. And most of the females between the ages of 3 and 8 would have at least carried a calf this season. And that boy on the right-hand side, looking all proud, should be very proud. His herd look in great condition, and judging by the amount of little ones there are around, he has done an extremely good job. So high foot to him, or high two, should I say, to him. Now, what happens with the impala is their little ones go into little nursery herds, and then they'll be looked after by a few different females or 1 or 2 young males. The males will generally stay in their natal herd for the first 2 to 3 years of their life, and then eventually they get kicked out and they'll move into a bachelor herd, where from then on out they will learn to essentially fight for females, because we are now in the rutting season, or at least the beginning of the rutting season. So now the males will be chasing each other around and jousting for position, so that when it gets time to start moving females in and out of herds and creating harems, that they're able to do so. And again, all your males between 3 and 8 years old will now try and form these little harems. The bigger the harem, the better. And they run around the bush just being completely just weird, man. Awkward is probably the best way to say. They just run around making these weird noises. It literally sounds like someone is belching in the middle of the bush. I've had it before with guests where we hear one of the males go, and my guest will look at me and say, "Did someone just belch out there? Is there someone out?" And I'm like, "No, sadly, sorry to say, it is a male impala, and that's just this weird noise that he makes." And so they'll be belching at each other, sticking their tongues out. It's very odd, very awkward, and I don't think it's, to be fair, I don't think it's very appealing. I think the females just really have no option, to be honest with you, although it looks like they're looking at possibly looking at some other action going on further on to the left of screen. But hello, Dark Main lover, and happy Monday to you. I hope your week is fantastic, and thank you always for all your support and getting involved. We really do appreciate it. And then Johan, hello to you. It's good to have you back from Friday. You are chatting from a cold Pretoria. Oh, that's interesting. You guys have had such hot weather recently that was that a truck that just drove past? did all of you see that? Must be a delivery truck or something like that. I think that's obviously there's something happening at the camp, close to the camp. That's why the Impala are having a look. But just that was cool. That was just reminding us that there are people around, and we are close to the camp as well, which is awesome. See how used to these camps that the animals are, which is great for game viewing, obviously. But yeah, sorry, Johan, that it's so cold in Pretoria. I'm here in northern KZN, and it never really gets cold here, to be honest with you. I think when it gets to 20 degrees, you'll see we have an obsession around here with so where I grew up, we used to call them bomber jackets. I actually don't know what we call them now. You know those like those padded jackets, they're like in little rectangles. I don't know, they're puffer jackets, that's it. My wife has told me this 22 times most probably, and I keep forgetting the word puffer. But if it gets to about 20 degrees, everyone in Belito wears a puffer jacket. It's the strangest thing. And it's always the K-way puffer jacket for some reason. I don't know. You know what small little towns are like. Everyone kind of does the same thing. But anyway, it's some useless information for you, Johan, for the day. But I hope you are wrapped up in something warm, or there goes the lawnmower again. Looking bigger. They're obviously doing a little bit of bush clearing around the camp. I hope, Johan, you are nice and warm, or if you're at your office, you've got something nice and hot in front of you and looking forward to live at the waterhole with us. Jane, hello to you, and thank you so much for your question. You're asking, do all herbivores drop their young at the same time? So Jane, no. Some of them do have seasons, like the impala and the zebra, but some of them don't have seasons, like giraffe, kudu as well. They don't really have a season. They just, when they come into estrus, it's generally speaking, from my experience, it is the animals or the herbivores that don't have males that are in the breeding herds all the time. That's kind of, if I can give you a kind of a, you know what it's like in the bush, it's never a set thing, but if I can give you a kind of easy way to look at it. So if a breeding herd is around with no fixed male that comes in and out, that's generally speaking, they don't have a season. And if they have a permanent male in the herd structure, they generally will have a season. But like I said, it's not always like that. But anyway, we're going to shoot over to, I believe, Tau, if I heard correctly, and we're going to go see what is going on. Now, I promise you this is Groundhog Day, because I feel like we had this exact shot on Friday without the zebra in the background. But this guy was in the water. Do you guys remember that? Sure. Unless I dreamt it, I don't know. But I'm almost positive this guy was in the water the other day. And he's just enjoying some nice soft vegetation. I think I have mentioned on the show before, as the ellies start to get older, they wear their sixth set of teeth down. And they find it more and more difficult to feed, so they will often go into areas where there's softer vegetation. Now this bull elephant doesn't look like he's at that stage of his life just yet, although I do see that his shoulder muscles are starting to droop slightly, but I would say this guy's in his early 50s, maybe late 40s, early 50s. So I think honestly he's just enjoying the nice, beautiful, nutritious grass that's growing in here. But this is very normal of very old bull elephants. as they're getting older and they wear their teeth down. You can see the way he's chewing as well, very slowly, very, very slowly. So yeah, possibly, but yeah, that's kind of what they do. They hang around these wet areas, and they feed slowly like this, and they just chew and try and get that food down, because remember, they don't digest everything. They only digest about 44% of what they eat, and within half an hour what they've eaten comes out in a beautiful package. And they are the seed dispersers of the bush, so they've just got to constantly feed for 18 to 20 hours a day. And as they get older, it just becomes harder and harder to find food that is well, not palatable, I was going to use the word palatable, but which is soft enough for them to get through with their teeth, because eventually it wears down to almost gum line, and they can pick up abscesses and all sorts of things. But he seems quite intent there, just on the fence line, to enjoy his food. And you can see just behind him to the left there is a small black bird hopping around the water that is called a black crake. C-R-A-K-E, crake. And I did see some Egyptian geese on the other side as well. But he's just having a super chilled breakfast, or brunch actually, on this Sunday. And you can see he's getting irritated with the mud and water on his tail, so he's holding it up there. As you can see, the crakes are now starting to come in a little bit. Cool, man. So I'm going to take a few questions. Craig, you're asking about the impala, the beautiful herd of impala that we just had now in Zim. You're asking, do they form harems because there are less males than females? So, Craig, there are always more females than males with impala, that is. It's an interesting question whether that's a reason or not. I can't actually tell you. It's a very good question and a good observation. Generally speaking, with antelope species, they do try and have as many females as they can, primarily to essentially spread their genes. That's really the only thing that they are interested in. So the more females there are in the harem, the more offspring they can sire, and that seems to be an exciting thing for these animals. I have 2 kids and I'm broke 90% of the month. The other 10%, I'm only half broke. So how they deal with all those kids and why they want all of them, I'm not 100% sure. However, Mother Nature has a space for everybody, luckily. They don't kind of corral themselves like us humans have done. But Craig, I think really the main reason for the harems is essentially to have as many kids as possible to carry their genes. But a very good observation, Craig, to be honest with you. And I do think Mother Nature, at least, not necessarily the impala, but Mother Nature to an extent probably has that in mind as well. Dark Mane Lover, you're saying this lone Ellie sighting is beautiful. So Dark Mane Lover, I love watching elephants, although he is getting a bit stuck in the mud. It's quite cute. Don't you think they're so cute from behind? It looks like, you know, when you get really like a quite an old man, and they always wear those like weird pale blue, very baggy pants. Maybe it's just me noticing this, and I don't know why it's always pale blue, but anyway, they wear those old pants and they've lost a little bit of weight and they have like a weird little walk, and they look exactly like an elephant does from behind. So that like loose skin and the way they walk kind of back and forth, it always reminds me of like an old man walking up the road. Maybe that's just my weird eyesight. Maybe someone else can see it. But Dark Mane Lover, I love watching Ellies. I can sit and watch elephants for ages, and often on a game drive actually I'll be sitting and I get mesmerized. Who knows how much time goes past, and eventually the guests will be like or something like that, and I'll realize, oh, okay, we need to move on. But they're just so beautiful. And you know, I know a lot, if you go onto YouTube you'll see all these videos of them chasing people around, and you know, people overseas are like, oh my goodness, they're terrorizing everybody in a car. But actually they are the epitome of a gentle giant. They really are. I love them to death, absolutely love them. They bring me so much joy and so much peace as well. You know, I find having a sighting like this with especially if you're in camp and you've just finished brunch and you get back to your tent or your chalet, and you sit down, and you know you're now tired because you've gotten up early for the game drive, and you're now watching this guy, and you can hear him feeding and walking through the water, and the crakes in the background that are calling. I'm going to leave the Egyptian geese out of it because they are just as bad as the hardy-daws, but it just relaxes you. I don't know if it's just me, but it just, oh, I love it. I'm starting to fall asleep as I think about it now. Just love it. So cool. So Janet, thank you so much for your question, and happy Monday to you. Janet is asking if it would make sense for elephants to also form harems. So Janet, I'm sure for the males, like this beautiful boy here, it would make sense to have harems, because then he'd just tire himself out pretty much trying to mate with all these females. But we need to remember that the gestation period and the period in which it takes to bring up these small elephants is vastly different. So with an impala herd, the gestation period is only 8 months. And they give birth, and that little one is almost finished suckling within the first year. In fact, it does finish suckling within the first year, and then they're kind of on their own, and then the cycle starts again the next year. So they pretty much carry, the statistic is that a female impala will carry 8 to 10 times in her lifetime, which is phenomenal if you think about it. That's why there's so many of them. I think we need to have a discussion with impala about birth control. We need to pull them into a room and have a chat. With elephants, it's very different. So mating the courtship is weird and fairly aggressive, and eventually when they do mate, we're talking just under 2 years. So their gestation period is 22 months. It's a very, very, very long time to carry a little cherub inside. And when they give birth, that calf will still be suckling into its second year, almost to 3 years, and then that female will really only even start to begin thinking about coming into estrus maybe when that youngster's about 4 to 5 years old. So the distances, the time span between those things are so vast that it just wouldn't make any sense to have a harem, because you'd have to wait pretty much 4 to 5 years to be able to mate again if you had your own harem, and you'd have an extremely grumpy male elephant running around. It wouldn't be a nice sight at all. Whereas the way their system is set up now is, unlike the impala that have a season, because it's a matriarchal society, the females come into estrus when they are ready. It also has, everything always has to do with the moon cycle as well. But when she's ready, she'll come into estrus, and then the males will come into the area and mate with them. And that's just a way of keeping the genes strong as well, because it means that pretty much every time, unless it's a very small area, pretty much every time she needs to conceive, it'll probably be with a different male, which is good. It keeps their genetics very strong, which is good for the elephants, obviously. Thank you for your question. That was a cool question, Janet. I appreciate it. Chikai holds his tail up. How cool is that, eh? He's tired of that, the hair tips, which are the most difficult to get to, just getting full of mud. So I don't think he's too keen on dragging it around the mud, and maybe it tickles, who knows. But I'm looking at his head, and you can see, I'm sure we'll end up going to Aldonio at some stage with elephants there. And if we get an elephant that has this particular angle, I'll try and show you guys. If you look at this big boy on TV at the moment, if you look at his head, you'll see there's like a saddle between his shoulder blades and the top of his head. And that is, for me, a sign that he's starting to get quite old. So I wasn't 100% sure actually when we came to the picture, but now just watching him for a bit, he's definitely in his 50s. You can see, and all that means is it doesn't mean his head's going to fall off. It's not like one of my daughter's old Barbie dolls. It just means that his shoulder muscles are not able to take the weight of that massive cranium anymore, and they start to dip. So they generally live for about 65 years in the wild. So he's still got some time left. It's not a problem, but he is aging, and hence we've seen him now twice here around the tower waterhole feeding on the young plants. He's seen it all, this boy. But we're going to move on. We'll leave him to his brunch, and we're going to go see what else is happening on our beautiful continent.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure. Safari, wine, and waterfalls. The ultimate African adventure. Sip South Africa's finest wines. Experience a world-class safari among Africa's iconic wildlife. And stand in front of Victoria Falls, one of the natural wonders of the world. All this can be yours with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
That these guys have led me to a pride of lions sleeping somewhere, or a leopard walking to a waterhole or something like that. Often these guys are a huge help, especially if it's quiet in the bush. Any guides that are out there listening will know when it's quiet in the bush and you have guests, it can be difficult. There is so much more to see than just the animals, obviously. But, when you're paying money, you do want to see some good games. So every now and again, the animals like these giraffe and also the oxpeckers as well will assist in finding, they tittle-tail, and they assist us in finding some pretty decent game. And you see they're always chewing. This guy on the left closest to us, if you watch him, you're going to see him chew, chew, chew. And then depending on how big your screen is in front of you, whether you're watching it on television or whatever, watch him swallow and you'll see a big lump go down his throat. It's called a bolus. It's basically a big lump of food. You'll see it go down his throat, and if it isn't chewed enough to go through into his second chamber in his stomach, you'll watch it come all the way up, back into his mouth, and he'll chew again. So I'll see maybe if we can spot it. I'll enlarge my screen here. He'll only drink if it went through. I didn't see it, unfortunately. But at least we get the nice opportunity to watch him drink. With all those doves around him, what a beautiful sight. He's a bendy as well. I often say you either have a giraffe that either keeps their legs dead straight when they drink, or they bend their knees when they drink. And he's a knee bender. And that drinking of the water will help to digest his food, so that bolus that he was feeding on or chewing will now go into the second chamber. It'll have 2 more chambers to go through until they are able to process it out. And that water just helps to keep it nice and moist, it doesn't get stuck, and it also helps with the mechanical processes within the chambers within the stomach. It's very, very important to keep everything moving. And then he'll deliver these little chocolate balls, as I call them when I've got kids on game drives, little chocolate balls. And what's interesting, actually, something that you can only really see when you're out in the bush, is kudu and giraffe scat or dung looks very similar in size, believe it or not. They both have a 4-chambered stomach, both of them are ruminants, and it looks very similar. The only way really to see whether it was a giraffe, well, should I say the easiest way to see if it was giraffe or kudu, is by looking at whether the dung is in a small little clump or whether it's scattered all over the place. So obviously, because these giraffes are so tall, whenever they defecate, it just falls and bounces all over the place, so the scat's quite wide. Whereas the kudu are a lot lower to the ground, and they tend to kind of drop slightly when they defecate, so it goes into a much smaller little clump. And that's the easiest way, actually, to determine whether it's giraffe or kudu. Gotta also talk about poo, guys. Can't just talk about the beautiful markings and all of that kind of thing. Poo is a big, for us guides that walk, poo is a big discussion point. The kids on safari generally like it quite a lot as well, the discussions. So Yaku, hello Yaku, who is 9 years old. I'm very happy to have you listening and watching, and thank you for joining us, Yaku. You're asking, why does so much rain ruin the roads? So, Yaku, if you think about... so what I want you to do is, when you finished watching Wild Earth, you've got to stay watching us, okay? But when you finished watching Wild Earth, take like a sheet of plastic or something where the water can run off it, and if you pour water down, you'll see it runs all the way down in one long sheet, but it literally forms a big long sheet, and all of it drops off. Not one drop will stay there, and it'll go into wherever you're holding it. Just don't do it inside, otherwise Mom's going to be pretty upset with you, Yaku. Now what happens is when we have a lot of rain, when it rains, when you get that like nice little drizzling rain and it's nice and soft and you don't get a lot of water over the roads and stuff like that, that's actually the best rain you can get, because that rain soaks into the ground. So all the plants and the trees, they all get a good amount of water, and we don't get anything that we call erosion, because it's pretty much soaked in before it's able to build up any momentum. But when we get very heavy rain, in particular when we are what's happening in Kruger Park at the moment, the water cannot absorb, Yaku, into the soil. You can imagine there's just way too much. As we saw a hammerkorp, it's a first kill of the day, guys, and that's a big frog, or toad should I say. I don't know how he's going to get that down. This is going to be interesting to stay with and watch. Sure, it's a pretty aggressive murder we're just watching. Close your eyes, Yaku. So what happens is when there's very heavy rain, the ground can't absorb all the water, and it runs along the top of the soil and it damages everything, because it takes away the top layer of the road. If there's any like little gap in the road or anything, it makes it a lot bigger, and it causes what we call erosion, Yaku. And sometimes the erosion is so bad that it actually breaks the entire road away. It's really, really bad. So we like light rain. We don't like very heavy rain like we've had in Kruger, Yaku. That's not good for the bush. So this bird is called a hammerkorp, and he is. I think that toad's dead. I'm not going to lie. I think it is dead, but I think he's just trying to make sure. It's going to be very interesting to see whether he is able to. And you see now, so do you see what he's doing, guys? He's dipping it in the water there. So either he's trying to see whether it tries to escape when he puts it near the water to see if it's still alive, or he's trying to just wash the dirt off it. I can't quite tell, but he's 100% dead. You see, he's trying to see if it'll go, and it's not going to go. You do sometimes get animals that do something called thanatosis, where they feign death and then will just hop or run away or slither away. But I'll be honest, I don't think that that toad is in any way, shape or form pretending to do anything anymore. What a cool sighting for a Monday, guys. I tell you what, that's a proper meal. That's I think that's lunch and dinner sorted. That's a family meal right there. That's so cool, man. So I'm going to go to some questions while we watch this. I'm so interested to see what this hammerkorp does. But I'm going to go to some questions. So Willow, you're asking, do elephants understand the concept of joy? So Willow, definitely. I can tell you without question that elephants do understand the concept of joy. They have emotional glands on the side of their face, just below their eardrum, or their ear opening, should I say. They are called emotional glands or temporal glands as well. And it's very, very prominent when these elephants get highly aggressive or whether they get very happy. I don't know if he's going to get this down, guys. We should have a poll. Is he going to give up, choke, or get it down? I don't know. He's trying to marinate it by the looks of things at the moment. Wow. Gee whiz. So Corey, you've just commented, how are their bodies capable of swallowing such a big meal? Corey, I don't know if he's going to get this down, to be honest with you. But anyway, sorry, Willow, back to your question. So I have seen elephants when there is a new baby that is born in the herd, that those temporal glands or emotional glands start to run, and you see big kind of black markings on the side of their face where they've been running, and they get very, very emotional and extremely happy. And it is actually quite emotional to watch how happy they get and how they welcome the new one to the herd and to the world after 22 months of being inside mom's womb. It's phenomenal. Now they say that when they are very, very happy, the mix is 90% water, 10% hormones. And when they are very aggressive or upset or in must, which is sexual arousal for the males, it is 90% hormone and 10% water. Now, that would make sense because the males, when they are in must, that gland, the secretion can get quite sticky and it doesn't run as much as when they are happier. So it would make sense that there's more hormones involved. Let me tell you, Willow, elephants are very emotional creatures, and sometimes you can even feel their emotions. If you're quite a sensitive human being, you can actually feel it. You can feel a shift within the herd. And they are really phenomenal creatures. Come on, dude. Do the right thing. Let's see you try and swallow this. I'm so interested to see where the chick... He's concerned. You can see on his face, he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Does anyone have a knife and fork? Because I don't know how I'm going to deal with this and get this down. I think he's trying to marinate it or do something. You see how he has stashed it so that it doesn't get stolen. They normally live in these massive, huge nests, fairly close to water. So, yeah, it doesn't look like he or she is taking that up to the nest anytime soon. So, yeah, I'm wondering, maybe just trying to relax a little bit. Very interesting. Very, very interesting behavior. Yes, there we go. It's huge. It's so big. He's worried. I can see, you can see on his face. He's like, oh man, I thought it was smaller than what it was. It's going to be very, very interesting to watch, guys. I'm looking forward to this. I'm even giving him some quiet time, but it doesn't seem to be working. So what we'll do as well, I think we'll come back to this interesting sighting. I think he's trying to figure out what to do. In the meantime, let's head over to bots, and I'm also going to get to a few questions as well, but we'll keep an eye on this action for you guys. So we've moved over to cylinder and we've got some hippopotamus. We've got, you only realize how big hippos are actually when they're out of the water. When they're in the water, you don't really notice it. But when they come out of the water, you're kind of like, okay, now I get it. Now I understand how big these guys are. And don't be fooled by those little stubby legs of theirs. I know they look fairly small, but these guys can reach a speed of about 40 kilometers an hour. You cannot outrun a hippo. You would have to zigzag because they're not very stable. They don't have very good stabilizers. So you would have to zigzag between trees. But if you ran in a straight line away from one of these guys, you'd be caught quite quickly. They are very, very quick. And you can see it's a bit overcast there. And so this is perfect weather for these guys. You know, they can be in the water, but they're still feeding on the nice soft vegetation. And life is good. As we saw with our elephant friend, life is very good in Africa at the moment. Lots of water around, lots of food. Life is good at the moment, let me tell you. So I'm going to get to some questions. You guys are it's amazing. You guys have got lots of questions. We're going to move feeds. It's a bit jumpy. We'll hopefully come back if it changes. But I'm going to get to a few questions while we move over. So Ben from the UK. Hello, Ben. I hope that you are not too cold as we move back to the murder scene. He still is not sure what to do. Ben, you're asking, what makes a giraffe's running gait unique compared to most other animals? So, Ben, they do indeed have a very strange gait. So most mammals actually have what we call a diagonal gait when they're running. So they're moving at speed, like a zebra or wild dog or something, where the front left and the back right move together. So it's basically opposing sides to get grip and to move quickly, okay? However, giraffes kind of evolutionary wise broke that rule and they have what is called a pacing gait. What that means is both right front and right back move together at the same time. So left legs will move together, right legs will move together, and this is very, very strange when animals are running. It looks pretty strange as well. It almost looks like it's like a gallop than anything else. And the main reason for this is because their legs are so long that if they did have a diagonal gait, their limbs would collide and they'd actually trip themselves. And of course their body shape is a little bit tricky as well, with the center mass, with its neck being quite high. So obviously with evolution and everything that comes with that, they have developed the pacing gait, which is both right legs moving at the same time, both left legs moving at the same time. It's very strange, looks very awkward. But let me tell you, they can get into a bit of a rolling gallop actually. So once they get going and they're on a straight line, they can actually reach speeds of about 60 kilometers an hour in very short bursts. So they are very, very quick. So again, these animals out here, you can never outrun one of these animals. They're just too quick. So again, in a straight line, even though they have that pacing gait, they would beat you to the line, unfortunately, Ben. But thank you for the question, and well spotted as well. Oh dear, what are you gonna do with that, buddy? How are you gonna deal with it? This is when he was wishing that evolution had given him opposable thumbs so that he could whip out his knife and fork and deal with this appropriately. But unless he is the Gordon Ramsay of the bird world, I doubt whether he's got a chef's knife under that wing. It's going to be very interesting to see how he copes with it. And leaving it out there might not be the best idea, because if a big stork comes in, the the storks and the eagles have got phenomenal vision. I mean, some eagles have got 8 times better vision than a human being. And if one of them see that frog hanging out there, like a big saddle-billed stork or something would have no issues whatsoever in moving in there, kicking that hammerkorp out of the way and grabbing that frog. And for a big saddle-billed stork or a yellow-billed stork or something, that's the perfect lunch. That'll go down very nicely. So Connor, you're asking how big is a hammerkorp compared to other wading birds? So Connor, I would say they are in the medium category. Obviously your large stork species and your heron species are bigger than these guys. That's why it's so funny, and a kind of a rolling comment with us guides about how big these hammerkorps build their nests. Such a massive nest for such a small, in comparison, water bird. Oh, come on, buddy. So that frog, that toad, should I say, rigor mortis is going to set in and it's going to bloat, which is going to make it even more difficult for him to get this down. So at some stage, he's going to have to make the right decision. I mean, if it were me, guaranteed I would have done something wrong in the nest, and I would just go give it to my wife as a gift and say, I'm sorry, does this get me credits for something else that I'll do wrong in the future? That's probably what I'd do, because I'd realize that there's no ways I'm going to get this thing done. It's just way too big. Hopefully we can hopefully something happens here with it. I think he's almost giving up on it, guys. Animal lover, you're saying this is a job for a southern ground hornbill? Absolutely. A southern ground hornbill would love that frog. Absolutely love it. The one species that I've seen, particularly in wetlands, that absolutely love... Oh, here comes a big helly. So maybe that elephant will stand on the frog, squash it, and make it a bit smaller. Maybe that's what the hammerkorp's plan was. Here comes the compactors of the bush. Isn't he gorgeous, this guy? My goodness. Oof, he's gorgeous. Wow. But yeah, I think he's given up on that frog, I've got to say. And Shelley, thank you so much for your question. You're asking, do hammerkorps have teeth or something to help break down the kill? And Shelley, unfortunately, no, they don't. They don't even have like little secret ones at the back of their bill or something. They're completely toothless. Like most modern birds, they don't have teeth. They do have a hooked bill, which obviously you could see him hooking and picking it up. And they have to swallow prey whole. So they chuck it backwards, almost like what you'd see a crocodile doing. They chuck it backwards. And I think it's just too big. So these birds have something called, inside the digestive system, they have like this, almost like this muscular chamber. It's called a gizzard, okay? Essentially, I don't know if any of you have ever seen birds eating small stones or grit. But they also, when they are swallowing something, they also get small stones and grit that go down with it. And within the gizzard, it's almost like a stomach, essentially, like a muscular stomach. And along with the stones and the grit that they ingest, it crushes the food. However, I think that toad is just too big, man. I don't think there's a way of getting that thing down. I think he's going to try, but I just think that's way too big, to be honest with you. It's essentially, if you look at it, it's half his size. If he does get it down, I think I think he deserves a beer. I think we should all chip in and get him a Windhoek draft or something, because I think he'll deserve it, or he'll probably need it. But yeah, Shelley, unfortunately, he's got no knife and fork and no teeth to break it open with either.
I'm Ralph, and I'm taking you to Sibuya Game Reserve, which is one of the only game reserves in Southern Africa accessed only by boat. We'll stay at the luxury forest camp overlooking the Kariga River with an abundance of bird life and animals grazing on the opposite bank. Luxury tented suites set in a riverine forest offers the perfect place for privacy and comfort. Join me on Sibuya and let's experience it together.
At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change. Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature, live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
If you love watching Wild Earth, here's a little tip. Become a member. You can gain access to the channel ad-free, you can rewind and re-watch sightings, and you can join our Tuesday live safaris. There's also behind the scenes videos, fireside chats, and every safari live episode, whenever you want it. It's just a better way to stay connected to nature.
Colouring pretty much the whole year, which is awesome, which is always a bonus on safari. And they get their name roller from their display flights. So what will happen is the males will chase each other around, they'll chase females around, and they do this like looping roll. And that's where the name roller comes from, but I'll go into more detail later. I'm sure he'll hang around. We're going to shoot over and go. We've got some little warthoggies hanging around one of the water holes. Let's go check it out. Not to be outdone by, of course, the Egyptian geese are in the frame, but look at those little piglets. Warthogs, aren't they sweet? Oh, jeez. Look at that face. So they're running off for some odd reason. I don't think it's anything major because the geese are not too fussed. Maybe they were just too shy to be on Wild Earth. Yeah, gone. At least we got to see them, I guess. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my life. Bumping into a leopard or bumping into something and having, searching for 2 days and getting like 10 seconds of it sometimes. That is sometimes how it goes out here in the bush, man. But of course, we always have the awesome Egyptian geese that we'll be able to chat about. And I've got some questions hanging around as well. So we'll stick with them for a little bit as they have little drinks and just chill here on the pond. It looks like a stunning day there. Beautiful, nice and warm by the looks of things. So tell me, guys, so we've seen a few bird species. We've had some crakes. We've got the murderous hammerkop that, I think there's a story. What was it? I can't remember. Was it a fox that his eyes were bigger than his stomach? I remember a story being like that when I was a kid. But hammerkop is the same. Obviously, eyes bigger than his stomach or his gizzard. And then we had that beautiful lilac-breasted roller, and of course now we have our Egyptian geese. What is your favorite bird, guys? We often talk about our favorite mammal and a favorite area to go into, but what is your favorite bird? Now, it can be what's your favorite bird to look at, and it can also be what your favorite bird call is, or both. If you've got both of them, let me know. It'd be awesome to chat to you and figure it out. But I've got two. I've got a favorite bird and I've got a favorite bird call. There's one bird in particular that I absolutely love listening to when I'm out in the bush, and that is the emerald spotted wood dove. I love the sound that bird makes. I'm not going to do it because we'll lose viewership almost immediately. I can almost guarantee it. So what I'll do is I'll find it on my bird app and I'll play it for you. But it's a very distinctive sound. The moment I play it for you, you'll know straight away what I'm talking about. It is my favorite bird call to listen to when I'm chilling in the tent between game drives, or even just driving around on the game drive. You know, when you have those quiet moments where not a lot's happening, you're sitting doing 20 kilometers in the game viewer, thinking about where to go next, and you just hear that beautiful monotonous call of the bird. And I will let you guys know what my favorite bird is to look at later on as well. But let me know, guys, favorite bird and favorite bird call in the bush. Let me know what you think. And thank you so much for all the questions in the comments, guys, that are coming in. Don't forget the question I just asked, favorite bird and bird call. You can WhatsApp us, or you can join one of our social media platforms, and which is worthwhile doing, guys, because not only can you ask questions and comment when we're doing live at the waterhole, but just to keep up to date with what's going on with Wild Earth, whether it be our game drives or our live at the waterhole, or even our travel, because we do lots of traveling around Africa, and you could join us at some stage. So please feel free to keep updated on our social media. So chilled at the waterhole, very relaxed. Almost looks mesmerizing, right? So I'm going to go to a question that Janet asked earlier. I see your favorite birds and bird calls coming in, guys. Yes, keep it going, keep it going. I love it. I'll start shouting out now. But I'm going to go to a question because I still have so many questions from you guys, which is just awesome. Keep them coming, guys. Janet, thank you for your question. While we were watching the murder of that toad, you asked, what triggers rigor mortis? Is it a hormone? Now, for any of you that are not sure what rigor mortis is essentially the stiffening of the body when a mammal passes away. Just the basically the cessation of biological processes and mechanical processes. Rigor mortis sets in. And Janet is asking, with that frog, I was worried about rigor mortis setting in and making it a bit stiffer for that bird to swallow. Janet's asking if it is a hormone that does that, and Janet, the answer is no. It is actually not a hormone, although a hormone would make sense. It's actually like I was saying, a biochemical and mechanical process. And essentially what happens is, in a nutshell, you don't hear me say that much, in a nutshell, wait till you listen. If you ever get a voice note from me on WhatsApp, it'll blow your mind. It's more like a voice chat more than a voice note. It drives my friends and everyone crazy. But in a nutshell, it's essentially when a cell runs out of energy after death, essentially. So you can imagine that the body's got oxygen supply coming in, and you've got the mitochondria in the cells that are busy producing energy, and everything's got to be fluid, and there's fluid also obviously mixed into this. Most of us mammals are 70% fluid, and all of these mechanical and biological processes are happening at the same time. When that stops, the muscles contract. And what happens is calcium, funny enough, actually starts to secrete into the cells, and it starts it starts to break the bonds down. The oxygen supply stops, calcium leaks into the muscles, and essentially the muscles go stiff, and they go into a locked state, and that locked state is called rigor mortis. So I hope that answers your question. Well, we're going to move over to Victoria Falls. I think we have more birdies somewhere. Ooh, nice. We've got a vulture. So I'm going to enlarge my screen. We've got a hooded vulture, one of the toothpicks of the bush. If you look at that beak, you'll see it's very thin, and it's got like a little almost like hook at the kind of end of it. And these guys are the ones that are on the kill at the end. So they go in and they strip the meat off the rib cage, off the bones, the face. They kind of clean any of the leftovers up, essentially. And these guys are very, very important. These hooded vultures are endangered, unfortunately, just from power lines, getting run over, obviously environmental changes as well, but also poisoning, believe it or not. Poachers poisoning waterholes. To try and get to rhinos or whatever they're trying to go for, and the vultures will feed on the water or feed on the carcass, and you can lose 100 to 200 vultures when that kind of thing happens. It's very sad. So these guys are, when you get to see one like this is a cool sighting. And don't worry, he's not the last one left in Africa. He's just chillaxing here on his own, busy wondering where all his mates went. Possibly was a kill nearby, although I do know here at Victoria Falls they do put stuff out for the vultures at the vulture feeding restaurant. So he's probably just waiting for the restaurant to open up, which will be good. And off he goes. So those birds just flew off, the hooded vultures. They actually listen out for hyena calls, believe it or not. They will listen out for hyena calls and follow hyenas in. They've done a study and it's phenomenal. They actually use the hyenas to find food. Don't you think? I just love it. Every time I'm on, I always say the animals are just amazing creatures, because they really are. But now listen, we're going to leave the grass and the puddle here, and we are going to head over to Founders, where our little piglets have decided to come back. And they have come back with an absolute vengeance as they have decided it is now time to chillax in the water. And anybody that knows the Sude family or the pig family, has anyone that has kept pigs, whether it be potbellies, I know some people in Africa have also had warthog as pets. They make phenomenal pets, by the way. Best watchdogs you'll ever have, besides geese, is a warthog. But they love mud. They absolutely love mud to death. So if you have a tiny little puddle in your garden and you have a piglet running around, that piglet is going to get into that little mud wallow and turn it into a proper little wallow. But it's important. These warthog out in the bush are often the instigators of natural pans forming. So a natural pan would be when you have rain like we have had, you get pockets of water all over the place. And those pockets of water will hang around for a week or two after the rain has fallen. Now those little pockets of waters we call a natural pan, and very often these are the guys that start it. They go in, they wallow, they rub in it, they open up the area a little bit, make it a little bit deeper, and slowly but surely over the years you'll get rhino that'll move in there, you'll get buffalo that'll move in there, eventually you get elephants, and then eventually you have a huge big pan that turns into a waterhole. And that's actually how natural waterholes are formed. It starts with these little piggies right here. And no, they aren't preying, as you can see them on the knees there. They are just feeding very, very close to the ground and having a big fat scratch on the rock there, and that looks so nice. I just love them. They're so cute, eh? They really are cute. So guys, I asked a question. I asked you guys to tell me what your favorite bird is and what your favorite bird call is, and you guys have just come in with a vengeance and are giving me all these amazing comments, so thank you so much. Please engage with us, guys. Send us WhatsApp, jump on our social media, let me know what's your favorite bird and what is your favorite bird call, because sometimes they're different. And we've got a few coming in. Paula, you said your favorite bird is the grey lory, or the go-away bird as we know it, and you love their call as well. Paula, yes, they are awesome birds. We guards, we call them the cockatiels of the bush because of their little crest that they've got. And actually that bird is quite important to my family because it is how I locate my wife at the shopping center. If we are in a large grocery store, my wife tends to she likes to shop. Okay, she likes to shop, and she doesn't always stick to the list, right? So you know what us guys are like. We go into the shop, we've got a list, we get the list, and if we've done well, we treat ourselves to a wimpy milkshake or a beer or something like that. However, my wife doesn't see it that way, and she walks around and she'll go to the first aisle, and then she goes all the way to the other aisle, then the end aisle, then she go to the middle aisle, and then back to the first aisle, and eventually I lose her. So to find her, I go out into the main walk area, and I'll go wah, and I'll make a grey hornbill, grey lory call, or go-away bird call, and she knows it's me. And to prevent any further embarrassment, she will step out so that I can see where she is, because she doesn't want me to do it for a second time. I enjoy doing it, one, because it embarrasses her, but two, I've had people look up as well. So I've done it, and people that looked up like, oh my god, there's a lory in the shop, which makes me laugh every time that happens. So it's a Paula. Your favorite bird is a very important bird to my family. Thank you so much. And Nelson, your favorite bird is a southern ground hornbill. They are beautiful, and the good news is, Nelson, that their population is starting to grow, which is great. We're seeing more and more of them in protected areas now. In game reserves like the Klaseri, which is part of Greater Kruger, they've had a hornbill research project that's been running for many years, and it is fantastic what they do there. And they basically put nests up for these ground hornbills to nest in. They are very slow breeders, very picky about where they breed as well. And because in Southern Africa we have a lot of elephants too many elephants that are pushing over the really large trees that the hornbills will nest in. I'm just hearing what the tech team is saying. I think one of them tried to do a grey hornbill sound. That was terrible, guys. I'll have to teach you. Because they're pushing over those trees, they've got nowhere to breed, and the nesting sites that they've put up have been such a hit, and it has worked so well. So your favorite bird, Nelson, is doing very well at the moment. So we're going to move on. We're going to leave our Egyptian geese to wander off into the distance there, and we're going to go somewhere else. We're going to head to Stony Point. Oh, we've got a rock hyrax here. If you do hear dogs barking in the background, it is not wild dogs at Stony Point. It is my two little rat bags that are barking at probably a pigeon. So I do apologize for that. I'm going to have to go sort them out in a minute. However, Stony Point, and we've got some rock hyrax. Very interesting creatures. And I'm going to ask, because we seem to have quite a few young viewers on Wild Earth. So I want to get you guys more involved. So any of my youngsters out there, I want you to comment. I want you to send us a WhatsApp. Or I want you to comment on one of the social media platforms that we've got. And I want you to tell me what animal the rock hyrax or dusty is closely related to. What animal is the rock dusty or hyrax related to? Let me know. Any of my little young viewers out there, I'd love to know what you guys think if you know this one. Looks like a pretty nice day there out in the Western Cape. You can hear the sea rolling in the background there, a little bit of ASMR. But these little hyraxes or dussies, as we call them, the locals, we call them dussies. They essentially, in real life, they're about the size of a large rabbit, so they can weigh up to about 5 kilograms, so they're fairly small. And you only find them on these little rocky outcrops and little koppies, as we say, or cliffs. And I'm gonna wait for my youngsters to get back to me and tell me which animal they closely related to, because it's quite interesting. But they've got funny little rubberized feet. And that's very odd, and I will go more into the dusty if we get to go back. Unfortunately, we lost the feed there in the Western Cape, and we've now headed back to Celinda, where we have 3 or 4 wildebeest, blue wildebeest, chillaxing there in the open area, looking very happy with themselves. So a few other bird calls. I don't want to miss out on this. I'm going to go through a few of them now, guys. Thank you so much. This is so cool, man. All my bird lovers out there. Johan, thank you so much. You love the sound of the wood dove like I do. I actually need to find it on my phone while I talk to you, and I'll play it, because I guarantee you most of you know exactly which bird it is. You would have heard it before. Let me just find it quickly. I'll play it for you now. And then Animal Lover, you're saying the pearl-spotted owlet. So Animal Lover, I love the pearl-spotted owlet. I love that call, especially in the late afternoon. I have a wish every time I go camping. My family and I camp quite a lot. And one of my most favorite things to happen is sun's starting to go down. You light the fire. Oh, and you get that beautiful light of the fire and the smoke starting to go and that crackle, and you know tonight's going to be boerewors night or lamb chop night, and you hear that pearl-spotted owlet calling as it gets to its roosting spot. Oh, I just absolutely love that time of day. It is so cool. So thanks so much, Animal Lover. Stephanie, you love the fish eagle, and of course, who doesn't? The call of Africa, as they call it. Fish eagles are beautiful, and you're saying the woodlands kingfisher is your favorite call. Sure, Stephanie, that's a big ask. I mean, they're beautiful birds to look at, but let me tell you, they can go on and on and on. They just they can sometimes eventually like, okay, buddy, we know you're there. We've accepted it. Thank you so much. I think you should fly to the other camp on the other side over there and let them know too. I'm sure they would like to know that you're around as well. But it is a stunning call. And you're also saying, are there any hardy-dars on the list? Stephanie, if there is a hardy-dar on the list, I think possibly it could be just a prank. So thank you so much. And then Johan Narina Trogan. So for those of you that have not heard of a Narina Trogan, again, they are essentially one of, as a birder, it's one of the kind of big five birds that you kind of want to see when you're in Africa. It is a stunning bird, has a very distinctive call. At least the males have got a very distinctive call. Unfortunately, you find them mostly in forested areas, and so they are very, very difficult to find. They generally have their back towards you, and their back is like a green color, so you don't see them. But when they do turn around, they have this stunning pink breast. That is just, it is, I liken it to the beauty of a lilac-breasted roller. As we see, we've got our hippo that is still out of the water here. So good choice, Johan. That is a cracker. I love it. So many coming in, guys. This is so cool. Wendy, you're saying good afternoon. Sean, good afternoon. Wendy, you're saying you've just joined. Have you missed much? Well, Wendy, how much time do you have? Yes, you have missed quite a lot. As you see, it's starting to rain there in Cylinder. Still those hot air cells that are moving over the interior. It does look like things are starting to lighten up a bit in the Kruger area, luckily, because things are quite bad there. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about how bad the flooding has been this year. Wendy, we've seen lots of beautiful things today. However, we saw a kill. We saw a kill live at the waterhole. It was a hammerkop that had killed a toad. And this toad was too big, and it couldn't swallow it, so it just kind of left it lying on the side of the waterhole. It was a really cool sighting. So welcome, Wendy. And you joined at the right time with the beautiful rain falling here in Cylinder with the hippo. This is perfect hippo. They've got very sensitive skin. They don't like UVB rays. It burns them, dries them out, and so this is next level. They can walk around, not have to worry about their skin. And the water will also now be warmer than the environment. So when they go into the water, it'll be nice and warm. So this is great for them. Really good. So many. This is so cool. I'm trying to look for questions. I've got so many birders out there. I don't have any questions to answer. This is so cool. So it's either Karen Kelly or Karen Kelly. I never know. So Karen/Karen, I hope I'm not offending you by saying Karen or Karen, but you are asking, do warthogs communicate with each other in a way that we can hear? So they do. They snort at each other, they grunt at each other, they squeal at each other. So there's a few various ways in which they communicate to each other. But with animals, as you can see, that hippo's about to open up his big mouth there in the slowest, I mean, honestly. That could just be the camera, I think, though. it's so slow. Oh, no, it wasn't. He was doing it on purpose. Okay. Bit of a 3D effect there. But yeah, so they do, most of your animals communicate via visual. So they make themselves look bigger, either, pricking up hair or standing sideways, opening up ears, whatever the way they do. They a lot of the times they'll communicate via visual, but our sweet little piggy friends do communicate with various amounts of squealing and sweet little piggy noises that they make. Wild at Heart, you're saying that my way of finding my wife in the shopping center is a different way to find a lost wife. It is Wild at Heart, I do agree. However, it works like a charm, and I encourage you to try it, because the embarrassment that it passes over to your your better half, in this case, it makes them come out into the lane almost immediately, so you know where they are, because often you call and they don't come, or they say, or you just hear a coming and you don't know where they are. So it works quite well. Anyway, we are going to head over and go see what else is going on while our little hippo friends enjoy the rain here in the Cylinder Reserve. So we have made our way south from where we were to Tau, and we've got our beautiful boy who is having a bit of I don't know what he's doing actually, he's bored by the looks of things. And you can see, so earlier on we were chatting, as we got two impala at the back, in the background there. Earlier on, we were chatting about their temporal glands or emotional glands on the side of their head. And you can see with this male here, exactly what I was talking about. Those drips or water, in inverted commas, that's running down on the side of its face. Now, I know with male elephants, people will see that temporal gland running and will go, oh no, we can't go too close because it's a must. But remember, it's an emotional gland, so it doesn't mean that he is a must. It could mean that he's happy to be back in an area, he's happy to find certain food, he's happy to find nice, clean, clear water. Possibly he could be communicating with other elephants around, which has set him off, either made him upset or happy. So it is quite difficult sometimes with the males to kind of gauge exactly what kind of mood he is in. When they are in the height of must or sexual arousal, the quickest way to tell is, number one, they stink. So you can smell them generally before you see them. And secondly, they essentially develop like incontinence, essentially. So they dribble from their penis sheath, and it goes all over their back legs. Now, I can't see, I do see his back. If you look at his back left leg there, it looks wet. Now, that probably means he is in must because of that dribbling from that area. So that generally is a telltale sign that he is in heightened must. But although he could have stood in the water, I can't necessarily see. I'd have to have smell-o-vision. But I would.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure.
Asked, we shot through to Stony Bay a couple of minutes ago, and we had that beautiful rock hyrax or dussie, and I asked my little youngsters that are watching, what do you think that they are related to? Now I have I'm gonna section them off. How many have I got here? I've got four. I've got four of my little cherubs that have answered me. I've got Raymond, I think, and I have Stevie, who's 10. So hello, and thank you so much for engaging with us, guys, our next generation. You're saying they are related to bears. So Stevie and Raymond, that's a very good guess, because obviously the Dussie's hairy and he does look like a little miniature bear, but unfortunately it is not a bear. As we head back over to the murder site, I see the CSI have not arrived just yet, and that frog has gone into full-on rigor mortis. Check it out. I don't think he's going to get that down, guys. I think it's kind of game over for him swallowing it, especially with that rigor mortis. So I think it's overs. So thank you, Stevie and Raymond, for it's a good guess, guys, a very good guess. But our winners are Angelique and Yaku, who is 9 years old, because both of them said that the Dussie or rock hyrax is closely related to an elephant, and you both are 100% correct. Thank you so much, guys, for that. It is very, very cool. And the reason for this is because there is a link within the families with their tooth structure and their foot anatomy. So even though they don't look anything alike, because of that tooth structure and the foot anatomy, they are related. So well done, guys. Very impressive. Very, very impressive, actually. Oh dear. Well, I feel sorry for this guy, because I think he's really, he's dying to get that toad down, but it's just not going to happen. Just trying to figure it out. How am I going to make this work? So I'm going to get to, don't forget, guys, I asked a question earlier. My question was, what is your favorite bird? And what is your favorite bird call? They don't have to be mutually exclusive. It can be one or the other. And I've got Canine Girl. Thank you very much. You are saying the fish eagle is your favorite bird, and your favorite call is the little bee eater. Sorry, I think I mixed it up. I think the fish eagle is the favorite call and the little bee eater is the what's name. I read that wrong. My apologies, Canine Girl. So yeah, the fish eagle is, I mean, it's iconic, isn't it? I think we all love the sound of that fish eagle. And the little bee eaters are cute, although they are so frustrating to get photos of because they have ADD. They just fly around all over the place and you could never get them to actually sit still. But it's quite interesting to get them, and they are beautiful subjects to. So now what's interesting, I'm noticing, and I don't quote me on this because I don't know if I'm correct or not, but as we know, toads have got sebaceous glands that actually carry poison. And I'm noticing this guy will pick it up and then will almost like wash its face and wash its mouth. And I'm wondering if those sebaceous glands of the toad is not actually putting it off trying to feed on it because it doesn't taste nice. Because you'll just keep watching, you'll notice that as soon as he gets anywhere near the back or tries to maneuver it into his mouth, he drops it and then he drinks a bit of water and kind of splashes it and almost like gargles. So I don't think he can get that down still, but I do also think the taste is also putting him off to at least try, because he hasn't even tried, he hasn't even bothered. So I'm wondering whether just the taste is not good. Like the Brussels sprouts of the bush, I think. So Melanistic Marble, thank you very, very much. You're saying that your favorite bird to look at is the carmine bee eater, which are stunning. If any of you don't know what a carmine bee eater looks like, I would consider just going onto Google and having a look. They're beautiful, almost like pink colored birds, beautiful, stunning birds. And your favorite song is the thrush. Very interesting actually. I don't think I've ever had someone say the thrush, so you obviously know your birds. Thank you so much. Angelique, you're saying the fiery neck nightjar call is your favorite sound. Yes, the sound of the night, right? So you're lying in your tent or your bed and you chilling there and you hear the fiery neck nightjar or the scops owl calling, two of my most favorite nighttime sounds to listen to, and you know you are in the bush. It was something that we all yearn watching the shows, just to get out there and explore and just listen to those bird sounds and the wind, and it's addictive. It's actually addictive. It's a drug. I think going out into the bush and being out there in the wild it's like a drug, guys. It's like a drug. And don't forget as well that Wild Earth, you can come and travel with us. Don't forget, you can book a safari and see all these things and hear all these things and touch, well, not touch, I mean you can touch the soil, but I wouldn't suggest touching a lion or something like that. You can do all of these things with Wild Earth travel, guys. It is just so worth coming out and experiencing it. If you're planning a holiday for sometime this year or next year, and you're wondering where to go, you can't beat an African holiday. You really, really can't. For those of us that live here, we go every chance we get. We never get bored. We live for going out into the bush and having sightings like this and the bird sounds, and we just love it. So don't forget, we can make that dream come true at Wild Earth Travel. So don't forget about us, guys. Johan, you were saying there are so many beautiful birds. Yes, we are very fortunate, Johan. And you're saying the trogons and all the turacos. So the turacos are luris, the luri family, for those of you that don't know. So you like the trogons and the turacos. So Johan, you can come back to me, comment, but I'm guessing if your favorite birds are trogons and turacos, you like the forest. You like going on hikes. You like going into forest areas and either bird watching or just being out there, because those two species are very indicative of thick kind of bush / forest areas. So I'm guessing, Johan, you're a forestry kind of guy, which is really cool. So many comments, guys. Oh, so cool. I'm trying to kind of skim through them and just make sure that I get to everybody without forgetting about what's happening on screen. But I just love it. You know that I love when you guys come through. And Melanistic Marble, you were saying that the song is a British bird. The thrush is a British bird. So yes, Melanistic Marble, I do remember that you are overseas, but I should have quantified that. But you're going to have to try. I'm going to have to look for. Is it just called a thrush, Melanistic Marble? Get back to me. Is it just a thrush, or is it a type of thrush? I'd love to find it on YouTube or something and try and figure out what the name, what it sounds like. As you know, I love birds. But we're going to leave the toad killer / food lever, and we're going to head over to the hide and see what's going on. Oh man, and we started the show with me chatting to you about the little cherubs out in the bush at the moment, and there are 2 of them. Just look at them. They are so sweet, guys. They really are. Very interesting. So when we started the show, I see it's raining there. When we started the show, they all were looking to the left of screen. And they still are. So I'm wondering what they're looking at. I don't think it's anything major, because the little ones are lying down and they're all feeding and they seem okay. If there is something quite hectic, what they generally do is they have an alarm call, and it's a snort. It sounds like almost like a sneeze, and that's generally what they do to alert the other impala and the other animals subsequently around that there is danger. But I think it's fairly fine. I'm not sure what they're looking at, but I don't think it's anything major. Now, something very interesting that I have found on my many guiding explorations that I have been very privileged to do in my lifetime. Your prey animals do not like the wind and rain. They don't like it at all, because it actually dampens, excuse the pun, their senses. So they obviously rely on their eyesight, their smell, and their hearing, all 3 of them, to aid them if there's any danger around. When it's raining, it's loud. When the wind's blowing, it's loud, and also can get rid of their sense of smell. So when the weather is like this, they are now relying on their eyesight. So you see they're very vigilant, looking around and trying to just assess where they are. It is pelting down there, guys. Absolutely pelting. Jeepers. Sure. Now we will get some erosion, like we were talking about later, if this continues like this. But Zimbabwe needed it. Needed the rain hugely, let me tell you. It's been a tough couple of years in Zimbabwe with the rain. If any of you visited there, it's been quite tough. But you can see they've huddled together, and they are not as relaxed as they normally are, and this behavior continues whether there are predators around or not. They just have to be hyper vigilant, because they've literally got 1 for sure, but possibly even 1.5 senses running at the moment, and it freaks them out, obviously. So they need to be a bit more vigilant than they would ordinarily be. Lady Macbeth, it's really nice to hear from you, and thank you so much for your comment. So these are not South African birds, guys. I'm sure, Lady Macbeth, you have different birds. But your favorite bird is the northern raven, and your favorite call is the Eurasian skylark. I'm going to keep this chat, and I'm going to listen to those, find pictures and listen to those birds. Lady Macbeth, that sounds quite interesting. Eurasian skylark sounds very James Bondish, I got to say. So I'm quite interested to hear what it sounds like. And then Kathy, your favorite is a Burchell's cuckoo, the rain bird. So if for any of you that know what a Burchell's cuckoo is, it's this fairly large brown, white and black bird with a red eye. And they are very active, very, very active before it rains. And they make this like gurgling sound. And that's why we call them the rainbird, because when they are very active, hopping around, calling, we know there's the barometric pressure has gone up, and we're probably going to get some rain at some stage. So we're going to leave these poor animals getting a much needed shower, I'm sure. No more stinky animals for them. And we're going to head over to Moella. And it's a dinosaur. Bit of the old Jurassic Park happening here in Botswana. Beautiful, what looks like a female, judging by that snout. Crocodile, busy chillaxing there. Males tend to have a much bigger, more kind of, I don't want to say rounded, but a much broader, rounded snout. And the females, it tends to taper down into a bit of a thinner rounded edge. So for me, this looks like a female, but without checking the cloaca, I can't be 100% sure, but I would say female here. Just chilling, catching some rays. Looks fairly dark and a bit blah, the weather there. So as you know, reptiles are ectothermic. They rely on getting their temperature and warmth from the external, so the sun mostly, and it's very important for them for their metabolism and for any activity. They store their energy as lactic acid in their muscles, and they are able to store it for a period of time until they actually need it. Nile crocodiles are actually nocturnal predators, so they feed mostly in the evenings, mostly actually on catfish or barbel. That's their preferred food. But of course, a crocodile this size would be quite happy to go for a small antelope species, an eagle, a heron. These guys will eat anything. Every single thing is on the menu. With a crocodile. So all my little youngsters, be careful not to go down to the water, especially if you know there's a crocodile there. Always maintain your distance just to be safe. So Ross, we were just talking now about the crocs. Thank you so much for your question. You're asking what happens if there's no sun for over 2 weeks. So Ross, I'm guessing you're asking this question pertaining to the crocodiles and the reptiles. So even though there is no direct sunlight, quite often when it's overcast, you still get the UVB rays that come through. And those UVB rays is actually what they convert into energy. And so they'll absorb it through their skin. A special see that, oh, you better run, buddy, she's going to chow you. They absorb it through special pigmentation in their skin, and they store it. So even though there's no direct sunshine, Ross, they still will be getting not as much, but they still will be getting energy enough to kind of survive. They can, the most phenomenal thing about crocodiles is they can go dormant if they need to. So, for instance, I think there's an elephant. Do you guys see that in the background? Is it an elephant? No. Jeez. It's time to visit Specsavers, Sean. It's a kudu. Keeping its distance from the crocodile. Yeah, they can go dormant. So what's happening in Kruger Park at the moment with these horrible floods that we're seeing, the worst we've had in well over 60 years, they will dig into the soil in areas where it's fairly safe. They go up onto higher ground and then they bury themselves they will drop their heart rate to as low as 3 beats a minute. 3 beats a minute, that's right. It is next level. And they can stay like that until they need to come out again. Now, we don't know exactly what triggers them to come out. Obviously, if there's a drought, what would make sense is the sound of rain or the dampness coming through the soil that would wake them up. Possibly, after very bad rains, when the sunshine starts to come out as well, that also might trigger them to come out too. But these guys have survived millions of years, and so you can just imagine, if they want to go dormant, 3 beats a minute is next level. How do you do that? And on a whim as well, just phenomenal, honestly. Janet, while we're talking about crocs, you're asking, will the croc species live forever unaffected by climate change? Janet, it would seem so. These guys have been through many climate changes in their lives. What we're going through now in terms of climate change or global warming, as we've labeled it, they have gone through similar things before. The climate change is not only a human cause. Climate change is also a natural phenomenon that happens, and so these guys have seen cold weather, they've seen hot weather, they've seen dry weather, they've seen very rainy weather, they've seen it all. And sure, if you're asking whether I think they could live forever, can everything live forever? I don't know, maybe forever is too big a word, but would they outlive most other species if things got bad? Probably, absolutely they would, because they've done it before, so why can't they do it again? So we're going to leave our crocodilian friend here to charge her battery, and we're going to head over to Founders. Yes, I was hoping that our chubby unicorns would make an appearance this morning. I got my wish. Here's mommy and our youngster. He's giving mom cuddles and loves. It's a bit of an aw moment. Come on, mom. I want to drink there. It's my spot. Mom's not interested. So this is a white rhinoceros, guys, as the books would say, or more kind of we in the guarding industry and more so into your zoology, we would call these the square-lipped rhinoceros. If you look at that female who's got her head up, you can see that, and the little one now that's also put his head up, that lip is squared off with those big rubbery lips that they tear grass. They're the big lawnmowers of the bush. And so they are actually called square-lipped rhinoceros and not white rhinoceros. The term white rhinoceros is not, as you can see, is also not from their coloration, but it actually comes from a misinterpretation from the British when they were looking at taking over many African countries, South Africa being one of them. The Dutch settlers, the word for wide mouth, the wide, is weit, and this got misunderstood as white, and so they called them, the British settlers called them white rhinoceros, thinking weit meant white, but it isn't. It's actually, what they meant is wide-mouthed rhinoceros. So it's all a misunderstanding, as we see two of the cutest bums you will ever see on television. Look at that. Oh man. It's so cute. And at least they have clean bums. Have you noticed whenever the buffalo are around, they have the dirtiest bums? I put together a YouTube video not that long ago, and I couldn't find footage to put on the video of a buffalo with a clean bum. It was during the green season. Obviously the grass is carrying a lot of nutrition, And when the grass is very, very rich and highly nutritious, it does make the dung a little bit runny, especially with cattle and subsequently buffalo. So they do have very, very dirty butts, whereas these guys have very clean bums, as we see the little one having a little bit of a drinky after drinking some water, still feeding on mom's milk, which it will continue doing for the first just over 2 years of its life, until eventually mom says no more, you need to go and make your own milk. I can't tell whether that's a male or female youngster, unfortunately. If it's a male, by the time they get to about 2.5 years old, 2 to 3 years old, depending on the area, the dominant bull in the area will kick him out. But if it's a female, they will hang around with the moms for as long as 5, 6, 7 years. They'll hang around with their mothers until eventually the call to breed takes over. And if there's a different male in the area, obviously they'll breed with him. But if it's the same male, they will move off and go and find someone else to mate with, luckily. But we're going to move on, let this little one have a little drink, and we'll come back and see how they're doing just now. So we head back to Botswana from one baby to another. Have a look at this small little vervet monkey. How cute is that? It's going to copy mom. Okay, mom, what do you do? How do you do this? It's not working. How do you do it? My apologies. Kenya, we're in Kenya, guys. Again, I get too excited for my own good. But check at them having a little drink. Normally we have the baboons, but it's nice to have these monkeys around, especially with the little ones. Naughty, naughty, naughty monkeys, let me tell you. That beautiful big male just had a big drink there.
My name is Amy, and behind the camera with me is Paul. And I mean, to be able to share it with all of you. Fingers crossed, and I'll make sure I wear my lucky leopard socks as well.
Oh, even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word! She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh. Whoa. This is action-packed.
When the Mara turns green, life surges, the air hums, the earth stirs, and the wild comes alive. Here, the wonder never ends. It just changes color. Every storm, every sunrise, every sweeping vista is an expression of wild magic. Visit the Masai Mara. Experience the magic.
Join our expert guides at dawn for a live, immersive safari as the bush comes to life.
Found ourselves a chameleon, and look how he's changed color.
Every sunrise brings new discoveries.
Pound for pound, a leopard is one of the strongest cats around.
Ask questions, share your thoughts, and connect with nature live and in real time.
Great excitement, great happiness.
Start your day with adventure. Are you ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Wild Earth Travel's newsletter is your passport to a magical journey. Explore exclusive travel options featuring special offers at stunning Wild Earth locations, and all hosted by your favorite presenters. Don't miss out. Head over to our website and subscribe to the Wild Earth Travel newsletter today and stay in the know on all our unforgettable adventures. Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
Kruger. I don't know why. I hear it all over the rest of Africa where I guide, but for some reason it just reminds me that I'm in Kruger National Park. And I love the Franklins, but the Natal Franklins have got a very cool call. As we see this big male vervet monkey busy advertising those blue testes that he's got. It's very indicative of the male vervet monkeys. It's a sign of dominance and a visual cue as well to the other monkeys. It's not for any other reason. And then I think it's Trixie Rose. You're saying your favorite bird is the secretary bird, and you've seen an arena trogon. Yeah, unfortunately a dead one, but sometimes that's the only way you get to see them, Trixie, because they're so difficult to see. But secretary birds are stunning. I actually had the most phenomenal sightings of secretary birds when I was in Botswana in May last year. Gee whiz, time flies. In Savuti, beautiful sightings of secretary birds. They were breeding on top of some of the thorn trees. Really, really cool. And Melanistic Marble, you were saying earlier with that Hamacorp, we're back with it, and it's how to dispose of the body. Yes. How do I get rid of the murder scene that's just happened now? Luckily, they can just fly away, I guess. Lady Macbeth, purple roller. You love the purple rollers. They are beautiful. They're one of my favorite birds. I do enjoy them. Thank you, guys. It's just so awesome. Today has been great. I did promise that I would play my favorite bird to you guys. So we're going to shoot quickly to the hide before we finish, just because we do have another bird there. But I will play my favorite bird sound and let you guys know what my favorite bird is before we go. Oh, nice. So let me zoom in. That looks like a... Oof, I can't see properly on my screen. Is that a bee eater? I think it is. My feed is a little bit scrambled, but yeah, I just had a look at the beak in the sun there. That is a carmine bee eater. We were just talking about a carmine bee eater earlier and how beautiful they are. That's a cool way to end the show, guys, with a beautiful carmine bee eater there. So, guys, my favorite bird is a saddle-billed stork. I love saddle-billed storks. I think they are stunning. I love watching them. And like I said, my favorite bird call in the bush is an emerald-spotted wood dove. You guys all would have heard it before because it sounds like this. Oh, I don't know what's going on here. Oh, guys, I'm letting the team down. For some reason, my what's-her-name doesn't want to play here now. Oh, man. Sorry, guys. This did not work. I will have to do it. I'm back on Friday. Just please, someone remind me about the emerald-spotted wood dove, and I'll make sure I've got a call available because I don't have enough time to sort this out now. But guys, listen, thank you so much for joining us today. We've had the most amazing sightings. Sadly, we had to watch the murder of that toad, but everything else has been absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for the comments and getting involved with the birds as well. I really appreciate it. As you guys know, birds are one of my favorite things. We're going to leave with a bird, with that stunning carmine bee eater with some impala in the foreground. I wish all of you the most phenomenal week. I hope the rest of the day and the rest of the week is phenomenal. I will be back on Friday. I'm looking forward to it. Until then, have a good one. Much love to all of you.